I'm Tiffany K, and he is Johnny Marks. Right?
It's cold, so my face is stuck like this. Bad Botox.
Yeah, obviously it's cold in here because I have to wear my heavy coat the entire time. Well, we're attempting to do a Marks in the Morning review. Which, if you don't know what Marks in the Morning is, I don't know why you're watching the video at this point.
Yeah, you stumbled upon us for some unknown reason.
But you can listen to us on K98.5, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. every weekday, but not weekends because we're not here. We picked movies for each other this week, both on Netflix.
Yeah, nice and easy.
To swap, and you picked the documentary FYRE.
Yep.
Like the greatest party that never happened, I think it's
right, because there's a Hulu one too. They're different, but about the same event.
And then I picked the movie Hush for you.
Which I thought was a double entendre. Like, hey, be quiet and watch this. Well, I did both.
Oh, snap. Anyways, do you want to start with yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my movie was, I had to do a little research to find out, but it was a Netflix exclusive. It debuted at some film festival and then went straight to Netflix, which isn't always a bad thing. But, and it got good reviews too. It was 90-some% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is really high.
Yeah.
I feel like horror movies are usually in the 20s or teens because they're just slash them up, kill them up movies.
I told you it's good.
It wasn't bad. It was, look, I'm not a big fan of horror movies like where they just jump out at you. I don't know what you said, but I'm going to watch the video and get mad at her.
You're scared.
Well, sometimes the acting scares me. And this movie had 0 recognizable actors, and only like 5 or 6 actors, period. It's about a gal who does, since 13 years old, is deaf due to, what did she have, meningitis, I think it says.
So, yeah.
And so she's out in the woods, and yet there's other people there. It's kind of weird. Like, it's a little suspend your disbelief, but all horror movies are. I don't know which movie, by the way, was more unbelievable, yours or mine. And mine really happened, so that's why it's kind of weird. But I won't go into the synopsis, because you can read that on your own if you want. But obviously, it's a horror movie. The monster is visible. It's a person. It's a killer. He's not like a Jason or a Freddy. He's not really based on the killer.
It's a real serial killer. Like, he literally is just demented.
He's just called Man or something too. He doesn't have a name, as far as I can recall.
So.
They don't really give him a name. I don't think they gave him a name, and he doesn't need a name or really much of a backstory. But it's fascinating. It's interesting. I guess even though it was 2016, it still for some reason reminded me of A Quiet Place, even though it wasn't a quiet movie.
Kind of, yeah.
Just because she
can't hear.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, I liked it. What's the popcorn kernel thing again? How many?
1 to 5. But wait,
I won't say it.
Yeah, because the thing with this movie, because I know you don't like horror movies, which is why I made you watch it.
Yeah, and I know you don't like documentaries. So, yeah.
We're very sadistic towards each other.
Yes.
The thing with this movie, I will say this. When I first watched it, I was like, what idiot would be, like, go out in the middle of nowhere when you are deaf and you can't really protect yourself at that point, and then, like, that was not very believable because I doubt that would happen. But there is a believable side. Like, people do just randomly kill other people in this world. So, like, that's kind of, like, the scarier part, I feel like, the movie is because it could be realistic.
Yeah, well, and if you watch it alone on a Saturday night with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you're not going to care about the plot. So don't even worry. Yes, it's got its realism, but it's like a Stranger Things where, well, no, not at all like Stranger Things, but like Stranger Things you watch, you don't go, oh, there's no upside down. Right. Because obviously it's sci-fi. So I guess why any different with horror movies? Yeah, I got my final review, and I'll wait until you talk about yours. FYRE!
I had FYRE. It's a documentary on... this, like, huge party. Like, it's supposed to be, like, a lavish luxury concert getaway to a private island in the Bahamas. It was in 2017?
Yeah, I think so.
And it was supposed to be, like, this big thing, just everybody bought concert tickets, and these big names were supposed to be there.
Right.
And basically the whole thing centers around Brian McFarland.
Yeah.
Who is the mind behind this, but really just like the fraudulent guy. Scam artist who basically thought up this idea to have this luxury concert with a rapper named Ja Rule. Which realistically, I'm sorry, I've never heard of Ja Rule.
It's Ja Rule, by the way. Yeah, interesting choice. He's 2000s, early 2000s. He had a song with Ashanti.
Nope.
Okay.
So I was like, that's interesting. I didn't know that was a rapper. Yeah. And basically what happens is the whole event ends up not actually happening, even though they try to put it on because they don't have enough money, but then they start Brian McFarland starts scamming people to get extra money, and people all bought these tickets and then show up at this island, and it just doesn't happen. Like, there's a bunch of tents, but there's no food, there's no water, they're stuck on the island because there's no flights going back. And then so he ends up getting, obviously, arrested. and he gets out on probation, I think.
Yeah, or they're trying to sentence him. So
they're trying to sentence him or whatever. And while he's on probation, he gets arrested again because he tries another fraud.
And he starts, well, whatever. Yeah.
He tries another fraud by trying to get people who were concert goers, even though they like knew about like the horribleness of this concert, to say we have these like awesome tickets to the Grammys and things like that, which isn't a thing. And they got people to actually call them back and give them money for these tickets that don't exist. So he got arrested again, and now he's like in jail for 6 years.
Yeah, well, up to you. I'm sure.
Up to 6 years.
Yeah.
But my thing with this movie was, one, the amount of people, I'm sorry, but who actually fell for this.
Who spent their hard-earned money.
And spent their money to go do this. Like, it sucks for you, but at the same time, this is why you don't, like, give money just over the phone to people or through a random email that you don't know.
Or because Kylie Jenner told you to.
Or because Kylie Jenner told... Kendall Jenner told you to at that point. Like, I think that's ridiculous. And my other thing with this is, as well, like, I'm not surprised by, like, how evil and sadistic this person is. At that point, like Brian McFarlane, there's people out there like it, but at least it's like actually bringing to light that like this can happen. But this is why I don't go to the inaugural events of things. This is why, because you don't know how it's going to go.
Unless your radio station were to throw it.
Well, unless the radio station were to throw it, and then I know what is happening, the radio station I'm with.
The inaugural Tiffany K fantasy ball.
Yeah, right.
Now she won't even come to her own fantasy ball.
But I'm saying, like, things you just randomly hear about on random islands away from you. Like,
no, I'm with you. It seemed a little suspicious, and by a little I mean like very,
like a lot,
because they weren't sharing any photos of the updates of the campsite, and the bands that were announced weren't promoting it because they didn't really know.
You would think, yeah, if the bands weren't promoting it,
yeah,
here's an issue.
It was definitely a debacle. It was debaucherous debacle. A lot of D words in there. It was bad news. It was bad dudes. I don't know. No more D words. Anyway, out of the popcorn kernels, what do you give yours out of 5?
I give it a 3. I'm very harsh when I give my popcorn kernels.
Well,
I give it a 3 because I don't normally like documentaries. It was interesting to find out about
It's an easy watch. It's short. It's like 80 minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again, but...
Yeah, you don't really need to. Mine was also short, and I had to look this up before the video. It was 81 minutes. I think earlier I said 70-something. I would give it 3.5 popcorn kernels.
Hey!
Yeah. I also wouldn't watch it again.
But I'm not a horror movie night, will you watch it?
If you have a horror movie night?
Yeah.
Can I scare you? Can I just sit behind your couch and
try
pop
to
up
scare
at random
me.
times? All right, I'm in. I will watch Hush if I don't have to hush during the movie. But you know what? It's going to get awfully cold the next few days, so now you have a couple of options. If you're into horror movies, well, both of our movies are kind of horror in a way, but you can watch whatever tickles your fancy. And I'm going to start working on a movie for next week. I'm actually off on Friday, so we might have to do our exchange on Thursday.
We're going to have to do our exchange on Thursday,
I'll come home and
but
watch
we'll
your
still
movie
put
Sunday.
up a video next week as well for that. But you can comment below with what popcorn kernels you gave the movie. I love how you point at that.
Is it right there? I don't know. I can't see it. It's somewhere.
And if you have any comments or disagree with us or whatever, let us know. And make sure you listen to Marks in the Morning every weekday, 6 a.m.